Hello my scrappy friends, and hello to all the new people that have just joined my channel. Today we are going to get started on a pocket page spread. Now because I have quite a few of you that are new here, I wanted to talk a little bit about my pocket pages since that's what I'm working on today. Normally I love traditional 12 by 12, however I do pretty much any type of format because I love scrapbooking so much. But one thing I love about pocket pages is I love to do them by the month. I don't do them by the week. But I definitely love to incorporate them by the month because I like to have all those little stories that maybe did not get a full page spread, or even just all the little random photos that I still want to include in my kids' albums. So today is going to be one of those days. But I'm going to do something very different. So if you've been following me for a while, you're going to be like, whoa, this is so not Desiree. And that is because I'm going to do something where I'm going to, well, let me back up a little bit. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here because there was a truck backing up and I wanted to make sure he didn't hit my house. Okay. Anyways, I am going to do something very different. And that is, in the past, I usually have about 4, maybe 5 photos in my pocket page spread. And usually my pocket page spreads are 12 by 12. But today I'm actually going to have every single one of those pockets is going to house a photo. Now, that's a lot of photos, and they're all taken at different times. They're all random, different colors, and you're probably wondering, how are you going to do that, Desiree, without it looking busy, without it being too distracting? And that is really easy. This is what I found while I was realizing that I was going to have every photo in every one of those pocket pages, or not pocket pages, in those little pockets. I picked out a few neutral ones, and then other photos that maybe had a lot of distracting colors, I turned them black and white. Then my next step was going to be where I needed to make sure my layout looked cohesive with all of those random photos. And so the way to do that is A, pick a collection, or B, use a kit, or C, pick a 3 to 4 color combination, and that is it. So that's what I did. I went through my collections and I found this one by Simple Stories from 2012. I bought 2 packages of those and the 6x6. So I've only made one layout with it, so I definitely want to use that up. Now I'm kind of pointing to you just a few seconds ago on those 2 photos, and what I'm showing you here is that my Canon selfie is leaving like a rainbow mark on my photos, and so I didn't want to have that on there, so I covered it up using a phrase sticker. Now, going back to that 6x6 paper pad, another suggestion would be, or tip, when you're going to work with pocket pages is I really like, and this is just a matter of preference, I prefer using 6x6 pattern paper because the pattern itself is scaled down. Now, do you have to? No, you definitely don't, because I have in the past where I've actually used 12 by 12 paper, but it just depends on the actual pattern. So once I decide what papers I want to use, I'm now going to start adhering all of my photos. Now, I am not going to stick with just the Simple Stories collection because I don't have any embellishments but the sticker sheets. And the sticker sheets really didn't have much to offer that would go with this pocket page. So I then went into my stash and found this chipboard by Little U, and I've been really focusing on trying to use as much as I possibly can since I no longer am needing it for baby pages. I'm now working on my daughter, this is her 2 going on 3 album. And so what the photo that you see there of them walking on the sidewalk where it was raining, we don't get a lot of rain, so they definitely get super excited when it does rain here. And what better way to use that cloud, since I'm not going to have that many opportunities, nor do I have that many photos of them walking or playing in the rain. I wanted to grab that one from that baby collection by Crate Paper and use that chipboard for that embellishment. Now I do take a lot of layers off that chipboard because I don't want to add more bulk to my pages. So next I'm then going to, and I kind of cut a lot of that part out where I was kind of going through my 6x6 paper pad trying to figure out what other papers I want to use to finish off the rest of my cards. But while I was doing that, I was then looking for embellishments to see what I had to work with, because remember, I'm going to try to keep it very limited on what I want to use, because I don't want to overwhelm the page, because I already am going to have a lot of photos. So that's when I found this one sticker that was an arrow that says makes me happy, and it's just a picture of my kids at the San Diego Zoo doing like a little photo op where they love to, every time we would go there, they would want to get in the pictures to be a bat. And so I have that, I just saved that one, and that arrow is pointing to them to draw your attention to that photo. All right, so I cut a lot of part out where I'm kind of just hem and hawing of what I want to use. And so once I realized that none of the other papers were really attracting to the eye, I then went to my scrap bin. And that's when I found this cardstock that was a perfect match to the collection. And I thought, you know what, this actually kind of calms it down. So that's another little tip. Not every single pocket page has to have pattern paper. You can even incorporate cardstock, that colors that match the collection or match the kit. And that really helps kind of tone it down and soften it up. So then as I was going through the 6x6 paper pad, I noticed that there was a lot of journaling spots. So you saw earlier, actually there's one right by the scissors right there where it's that little tiny card that actually, if in the main 12x12 collection, if you were to buy the whole package, they were actually 3x4 cards, and they're just scaled down so small. And I don't remember if I said this earlier, but that is another thing on why I like to use 6x6 papers, is the pattern itself is scaled down. Just to kind of fit that smaller section of each pocket. So then once I figured out that I had scraps in orange that also matched the collection, I knew right away that's what I was going to use up. So then I already cut those to 3x4 cards, and then I realized as I was kind of looking through those little cards that were the cut apart sheet and the simple stories, the ones where I said it houses the journal, it's the one right by my scissors, I knew I needed another one because the size of that rectangle was just a little too squared, so it wasn't fitting my photo. It's actually kind of overwhelming to the size of my photo, and you're going to see what I mean here in just a few minutes. But I knew that there was something lacking when I put the photos on the cardstock, and that was that they just kind of needed a small mat around it. So once again, I went through my scrap bin, something that I love to do because I definitely want to try to use up all those scraps that I have, and I just found one that really was close to that ledger there that you see on the bottom right hand side. And so it's kind of more like an ivory, so what I did was I just cut them down, and I'm going to go ahead and mat them here in a few seconds. And then I'm going to go ahead and hear them down. Now while I'm doing that, my mind is always thinking of what to do next. And so I'm thinking, okay, I have that ledger paper. Now is that going to house all of my stories onto one little ledger, or am I going to kind of divide it? And that's when I thought, gosh, that kind of could be confusing, where if I try to have some stories on some photos, maybe the rest of the stories on the 4x6, it kind of might be distracting. And so I'm kind of play here with it until I realize this just is not going to work. I'm going to add another photo. Yes, I'm going to add another photo. And that's when I grab a 4x6 photo of my daughter and husband, and you'll see that here. And it's going to look, that photo is actually going to look very familiar, and that's because I just did a 12x12 layout on it. But I had so many cute photos of them that I really wanted just to add one more into the November spread. So I'm going to cut out a couple more of those like journaling spots that I told you about that were from the cut apart sheet of the 6x6 paper pad. And then I'm just going to try to decide on which one I want to use. And I saw this one that was an envelope, and I thought that was really cute and actually perfect for the photo, because we were visiting my parents and we were exploring a little resort that was just opened up where they lived. And so the kids were all running around, checking the river out. And so I thought that little envelope was perfect. All right, so another tip of trying to keep this not so busy, not too distracting, and making you feel dizzy looking at it, pretty much, is I am going to limit my embellishments to a minimum of a few. I really only want to have just a few, and that is I'm going to use phrase stickers, I'm going to use my journaling card, I'm going to keep that cloud that is a chipboard, and that is it. I'm not going to add any others. Normally I would have puppy stickers, possibly maybe some enamel dots, but I just don't want to overwhelm the page that I already have. So the next I then went into my little bits and bob bin with just random little scraps, really small scraps actually. And that's when I found this 3x4 card, and the color of the journaling box was perfect to house the journaling spot that I wanted, because like I said, the other little cut apart sheet from that 6x6 it just overwhelmed that photo of my two kids sitting on a couch at their auntie and uncle's house. And so I'm just going to go ahead and use the more rectangle size or shape and go ahead and use that to place my journaling. And that's pretty much it, everybody. I do hope that you enjoyed this Project Life spread. If you did, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, I really appreciate it here. And if you are new to my channel, I would love to have you join my community, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.